Have you ever pulled up to a red light, glanced over at the car next to you, and in a split second, formed a complete story about who that person is? We all do it. It's practically automatic. On one side, you see a pristine matte black luxury SUV, flawless paint, massive rims, and a driver who looks like they've got life completely figured out. In that moment, your brain fills in the blanks. That person has made it. They've won the game. They sleep easy at night. Then you look the other way. There's an older, faded sedan, a little scuff on the bumper, maybe a few dings. The driver's in a plain gray t-shirt, looking tired after another long day. And just like that, society's script kicks in. You assume this person is barely getting by, surviving, not thriving. But what if I told you that more often than not, you've got it completely backward? What if the person in the luxury SUV is quietly drowning in five-figure monthly debt payments, fighting off panic attacks every time the calendar flips to the first? And what if the person in the dented sedan is sitting on a seven-figure brokerage account that gives them the quiet freedom to walk away from any job, any boss, or any toxic situation the moment it no longer serves them? That's not a hypothetical. It's happening right now, on your street, in your grocery store, at your favorite coffee shop. Today, we're diving into a phenomenon most people never notice: why the real millionaires in your neighborhood usually look a lot more broke than you'd expect, and how the way they live holds the actual key to a different kind of wealth. Not the kind you show off. The kind that gives you complete, unshakable freedom. When most of us hear the word millionaire, we don't think about numbers. We think about images. The lifestyle we've been sold our entire lives through music videos, reality TV, and perfectly curated social media feeds. We picture sprawling mansions with infinity pools, head-to-toe designer clothes, covered in massive logos, and VIP experiences that cost more than most people's annual rent. We've been conditioned to believe that real wealth is loud, that it's a performance. So when people start making a little more money, maybe that first big promotion hits, or your business has a strong quarter, the instinct is almost immediate. Show it. Upgrade the apartment. Lease the nicer car. Start eating at the restaurants where the plates are huge, but the portions are tiny. Buy the clothes that quietly scream to everyone around you, "I've made it. I'm safe now." And look, there's zero shame in that. If you've ever felt that pull, don't beat yourself up. It's deeply human. For thousands of years, status signaling was a legitimate survival strategy. Showing resources meant you were valuable to the tribe. It brought protection, respect, and stability. But in today's world, that ancient instinct has become one of the biggest financial traps we face. Behavioral economists call it lifestyle creep, or the hedonic treadmill. And it all stems from one critical misunderstanding. Most people confuse high income with real wealth. They see someone pulling in $250,000 a year, but spending $245,000 to keep up appearances, and assume that person is rich. But true wealth isn't what you spend, it's what you keep. It's the money that quietly compounds in the background. The assets working for you while you sleep. The actual millionaires living right down the street. The ones who look painfully ordinary, almost aggressively average, have figured this out. They made a deliberate choice. They traded the temporary high of looking rich for the permanent power of actually becoming rich. They chose freedom over flexing. Let's bring this down to street level and look at how it actually plays out in a normal neighborhood, the kind you probably live in right now. There's a famous study from decades ago by researchers Thomas Stanley and William Danko called the Millionaire Next Door. When they started their research, they expected to find America's millionaires living in gated communities, sipping expensive wine, and wearing custom-tailored suits. What they actually found shocked them. The majority of self-made millionaires lived in ordinary middle-class neighborhoods, drove reliable used cars, and shopped for clothes at regular department stores. They weren't hiding their wealth out of paranoia. They lived that way, because that's exactly how they built their wealth in the first place. Let me show you what this looks like. Using two neighbors you probably already recognize. Meet Neighbor A, a corporate professional making a solid $150,000 a year. On paper, they're doing great, but they're highly tuned into social proof. They look around the block and notice two neighbors just installed beautiful dark wood patios. Suddenly, their own perfectly fine deck feels outdated, inadequate. That quiet anxiety creeps in, the sense that they're falling behind. So they take out a $35,000 loan to upgrade the backyard. Then they need the matching high-end outdoor furniture. And now, their car in the driveway doesn't quite fit the new image. So they sign a $700 a month lease on a shiny new luxury vehicle. From the outside, Neighbor A looks like they're absolutely crushing it. You'd walk by their house and think, damn, these people have made it. But if you saw their actual finances, they're living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, and one layoff, one medical bill, or one bad market swing away from disaster. Their life runs on a constant low hum of financial stress that they cover up with nice things. Now, meet Neighbor B, just 3 doors down. They might be a high school teacher, a logistics manager, or a local plumber. Their household income is solid, maybe even a little less than Neighbor A's. But Neighbor B plays a completely different game. They're not worried about losing social status. They're focused on protecting their freedom. They drive an 8-year-old paid-off SUV, wear comfortable off-brand hoodies, and mow their own lawn on Saturday mornings while listening to a podcast. Because they're not bleeding $1,500 a month on car payments and patio loans. That money quietly goes somewhere else, into low-cost index funds and boring retirement accounts over 10, 15, or 20 years. The difference becomes massive. While Neighbor A is working 50-hour weeks just to keep up appearances, Neighbor B's investments have quietly crossed the 7-figure mark. They don't look rich. If you saw them at the hardware store buying a light bulb, you'd probably walk right past them without a second thought. But here's what they actually have. Something most people never buy, because they spend it all trying to look wealthy. They own their time. They own their choices. They own their peace. This brings us to the real turning point, the psychological shift that separates people who stay trapped in the endless consumer cycle from those who finally achieve genuine financial peace. It starts with one uncomfortable question. What are we actually buying? When we purchase luxury things we can't comfortably afford, most of the time, we're not buying the product itself. We're buying an identity. We're trying to purchase a shield for our insecurities. We tell ourselves that if the car is nice enough, the clothes expensive enough, or the neighborhood prestigious enough, then no one will see our flaws. We believe it makes us bulletproof to judgment. But the quiet millionaires, the unassuming ones who blend into everyday life, have had a profound realization. Chasing validation through objects is a game you can never win. There's always a newer model. There's always a bigger house down the street. There's always someone else to impress. The moment you opt out of that race, your entire relationship with money changes. You stop seeing money as a tool to impress people and start seeing it as a tool to buy back your time, because that's what real wealth actually buys. 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account means you can walk away from a toxic job without panicking about next month's rent. A couple $100,000 invested gives you the freedom to take a lower-paying role that actually fulfills you, or spend precious afternoons with your kids while they're still young. When you become one of those quiet millionaires, you gain the ultimate luxury, the ability to look at a chaotic, stressful world and calmly say, I don't have to participate in this emergency. That's the power of real wealth. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need a roaring exhaust or a flashy logo. It's quiet confidence. It's the person sitting in a tense meeting, completely at ease, because they know they don't need the job. They're there by choice. So, how do we actually apply this in real life without swinging to the opposite extreme? Let me be crystal clear. I'm not advocating for miserable asceticism. I'm not saying you should never enjoy a good cup of coffee or drive a beat-up car just to pinch pennies. That's not wealth. That's just trading one form of anxiety for another. The real goal is something psychologists call an internal locus of control, the deep belief that your life outcomes are shaped by your own decisions, not by the opinions or expectations of people around you. Here are 3 practical, realistic ways to start building quiet wealth in your own life. First, adopt the 24-hour wait rule. For any non-essential purchase over a certain amount, let's say $100, when you feel that sudden rush of, I need this, step away. Sleep on it. Modern marketing is engineered to spike your desire in the moment. Give the emotion time to cool off. More often than not, you'll realize you didn't actually want or need it. And if you still do after 24 hours, buy it with intention, not impulse. Second, change how you measure cost. Stop thinking in dollars and start thinking in life energy. If you earn $30 an hour after taxes, that $300 designer jacket isn't just $300. It's 10 hours of your life spent at a desk, under stress, away from the people and things you love. When you start pricing things in hours of your finite life, your definition of worth it transforms almost overnight. Third, and this is the hardest, but most powerful shift, consciously separate your self-worth from your stuff. Take pride, not in what you can show the world, but in what you can quietly build. Find deep satisfaction in watching your savings grow, your debt shrink, and your options expand. Let your financial security be your own private victory. You don't need to post it. You don't need to broadcast it at dinner parties. The quiet knowledge that you're building real freedom is more than enough. As we wrap this up today, I want you to take a deep, slow breath with me. If you've been feeling the pressure lately, if your workplace, your social media feed, or even your own neighborhood makes you feel like everyone else is moving faster, earning more, and living a more glamorous life, I want you to give yourself permission to release that weight. The truth is, appearance is rarely reality. The entire system around us is built to keep us spending, performing, and staying trapped on the wheel of endless consumption. So the next time you see someone driving a modest, slightly older car, or wearing simple, unbranded clothes, don't look down on them. Smile quietly to yourself. They might be one of the quiet millionaires in your neighborhood. Someone who already figured out that the greatest thing money can buy isn't a status symbol to show the world. It's the peaceful freedom of waking up every morning and knowing you truly own your life. Remember, financial progress isn't about being perfect. It's not about having a flawless balance sheet tomorrow. It's about making small, intentional choices every single day that protect your peace of mind instead of chasing someone else's approval. Progress always beats perfection. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourself. Stay grounded. This is Sophia, and I'll see you in the next one.